Hello, welcome to part 2 of my XTool experience. Now, I'm not going to lie to you, it's not been smooth sailing, but that's probably because of my fallbacks rather than just the machine. There are a few videos on their website which I'm going to show you a couple of things online shortly. The first thing I want to explain is the air assist. I've had a look at the instructions and they are pretty intense. Something that I do not feel confident in doing. So there's a lot involved, taking off the laser, adding things, etc. I'm going to get somebody who's much more competent than me to put this on. That doesn't mean if you're good at following instructions like this, you wouldn't be able to do it, but it's not something I feel comfortable with doing. However, that does actually kind of change the way that I can use the machine for now. There will be more videos. It's going to be something that I will be continuing to learn. Now, the machine comes with, I explained yesterday, you get a fabric grip mat and you also get a light grip mat. The light grip mat is in my machine, which I will show you shortly, but the blue one, it's sticky at the bottom as well as the top, and you do need it for using your blade cutting part of the machine. Now, what I'm going to do today is, first of all, having not being able to find a lot, I'm going to calibrate the machine. Again, my cutting was not working, so I think I need to recalibrate my cutting tool, and I thought it would be a really good idea to show you how to do that. The second thing is, I still have an issue. This has got the material on it, and this is quite clearly the bone-shaped metal dog tag. However, the other materials, this is the packaging, the other materials that came with the machine has nothing on them. So this was another failure. So I'm going to show you how to calibrate, and hopefully it will work much better the second time round and we'll do some cutting. I'm going to show you a couple of useful websites now. So if you open the internet and go to the XTool website, there is, under the support section and then material settings, you've got a list of the machines that are available. So you've got the D1, the D1 Pro and the M1. So if you click on the M1, it gives you some materials: wood, metal, acrylic and paper, which gives you the power, speed and pass settings you need for that material. In the wood section, the basswood plywood at 3mm is supplied, so this will be quite useful when we go to cutting, and I have the 5-watt machine, so that's going to be really useful and a good tool for you to use. The second website is if you are going to have an air assist attached and you're going to use the laser for cutting paper. This is really useful. It's the ZX printer paper thickness spreadsheet, and it gives you the thickness of papers and cardstocks, and then it gives you the GSM, so you'll be able to use that as a resource if you're going to be cutting paper with the blade or if you're going to be cutting paper with your laser. So now we're going to be moving on to opening our XTool Creative space, and once you've got your machine all up and running, you do need to load on this software. Once you've got your software, we're going to start by calibrating the blade tool. So we'll just give that a second to open. I've already installed my drivers, so I'm just going to close that down. So what I've done is I've taken the blue mat and I've put it into my machine, and I'm going to show you where we need to line that up. So you need to use a sheet of blank paper, and I'm going to use a black piece of cardstock. I'm going to put that into the machine, and this is the camera picking up the inside of the machine. So I'm going to take the film off my mat and I'm going to place the cardstock in the center of my machine, and then I'm just going to hit refresh so it will refresh the view that the camera is giving me from inside of the machine. So now the image will adjust and you can see that is straight. I've hit the refresh button. So now what we need to do is we need to go to the little cog on the right hand side and click that. It will bring up this menu. So go to setting. Once you've gone to setting, go to calibrate and then hit next. Once you've hit that next button, you'll start to hear the machine making some cuts. You just need to press the start button on the front of the machine. Once the calibration has complete, you'll see this screen. So we now need to refer to our cut paper. So I'm going to count. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 8 rows down, and that is my lightest cut. That one I don't think has cut at all. So I'm going to come to that first column and come down to A8 because that is my lightest line. You can see the position check on the left hand side. Once you've done that, hit OK and the calibration is finished. So I left my blue mat in the machine and I've now attached a piece of sticky vinyl, craft vinyl, to the mat, and we are going to make a cut using a simple shape. So the first thing I need to do is on the right hand side, you can see at the moment it's set to flat laser. I need to change that. I need to change it to blade cut, and that's really important. We don't want to accidentally use the laser to cut plastic. So once I've done that, so over on the left hand side we have a shape option. I'm going to select a shape and I'm going to do a leaf. So I'm going to select the leaf and it will automatically drop that shape onto my material. So I'm just going to move it a little bit away from the side of the canvas, but I'm also going to enlarge that a little bit, and you can just click and drag the corner of that shape to enlarge it. There's lots of shapes, but if you want a rectangle or a circle, you need to go to the insert option. I'm now going to use the removable self-adhesive sticky vinyl, craft vinyl, which is one of their presets. And I want to make sure the output is on. If it's off, it means it will not cut whichever shape the output is turned off for. So as you can see, I'm going to turn that back on. It's using the XTool selected reference because it is one of their materials. What it's done is it's set the cut pressure to 75, the speed to 80 and the pass to 0, and you cannot change that. Once you're happy with your shape, once again I'm going to double check that says blade cut. Happy with the size, happy with the shape, I'm going to go to process. Gives you the option to add a frame. I'm going to click start, and then I'm going to press the blue button on the front of the machine. While that's cutting, the screen will show you the process, how long it has been cutting, and you can see from the bar how long it has left. Once that's finished, the screen will tell you it's done and it's safe to lift your lid and remove your fabric. So let's have a look and see how that did. So I wasn't filming, but I've cut that. I've actually been successful on this occasion. So I'm going to stick that on the front of my machine. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to take out my mat. I'm going to take out my mat, and we are literally going to have a go at engraving this dog tag. So I've put the dog tag into the machine in the center, right where that laser hits from the camera, so it can line up correctly. Now I'm just going to hold down the command or control button and zoom in using my mouse so you can have a better view of what I'm doing. So we're going to zoom in, and what I want to say is make sure you now have laser flat selected on the right hand side. We're no longer cutting with the blade. So we're going to zoom in like so. Now over on the left we have a text tool. I'm going to select that. Select the text tool, and it takes a moment for that to pop up. When it pops up, it says hello. So in this little text box, you can change that to whatever type you want. And I know a dog called Fizz, so that's what I'm putting in there. So I'm going to move it into place and just spend a minute or two getting this the correct size. You can use your up and down arrows to move that around. There's quite a few typefaces to choose from. I've selected marker felt, and once you've done that, you need to make sure you click engrave. Once you've done that, you can fiddle around with your text. I change it to thin, and I also change the spacing on this. So I keep playing with the size until I'm happy with it, and then I have a look at the spacing. So I'm going to increase that, and 3 is a little bit too much, so I take that back down to 2. And then again, I just play around with moving it around, getting it into the center, getting it the size I want to make sure I'm really happy with what that looks like. Now, something I should have done first is go to the material and select that silver bone dog tag, and that again is one of the predefined materials from XTool. So I'm going to select that, and you can see it then moves my text, so I need to have a play around with that again. There's no raised blocks in the machine. I would use that for cutting with the laser, but not for the engraving. So I'm going to move this around again. So I've selected engraving. It's an XTool selected preset. It's 100 power, 25 speed and 1 pass. Now, even though I'm quite nervous, I just keep double checking because it is the first time I've done this. So once I'm ready, once I've got the confidence, I am going to click process. You can see me hovering the button for quite a long time before I finally pluck up the nerve to press it. But I promise you, I do finally press that button. So there, I press the button. We then have a picture of what we're going to engrave. We click start at the top, and then we still have to go ahead and press that blue button on the machine. Then it starts giving us the time used, and you can see a very small line appearing across the processing at the top, so we can see how much time we have left. And a reminder that you must not leave the machine while it's working at all. It took almost 9 minutes. It tells me that it's complete, so I'm going to have a little look. Wow. Oh, wow. That's all I'm going to say about that. I'm actually really pleased with how that's turned out. I think calibration and engraving is enough for this particular part. So I will be back with probably the third and final part, plucking up the courage to actually cut with the laser machine. Thank you so much for watching. See you soon.